Ms.
I have an item to add to the agenda.
All right,
There's a question about the residents of Randall Watson inside the township. I asked that we put that item on the agenda and that Mr. Watson be dismissed from voting on that action.
can I get a second? All in favor, let it be known by the sign aye. All opposed? Motion's carried. All right. So that item is added to the agenda. The next item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meetings.
That was not added, it was 3 opposed.
Mr. Watson could not vote on that.
No,
It's his activity, he can't vote on this.
Okay, can I add an item to the agenda?
Yeah, we will add that.
I would like to have a vote on the
Okay,
presidency of the mayor and have that added as another item down here. May
okay.
not be able to comment on it also.
Oh, okay,
Or not.
that would be perfect. That would be perfect. All right. Can I get a second on that motion?
Yeah, I'll second
All right. Can I have all any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by a sign aye. All opposed? Okay. Okay. So now, the first item here then will be added to the agenda. Now we need to approve the agenda as amended. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended with the 2 items?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda
With the 2 items
with
added
the 2 items added
At the end of the agenda.
at the beginning of
at the beginning of the agenda.
Okay. Can I have a second? All in favor, let it be known by a sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Uh,
Okay. All right, the first item on the agenda is the residency of Mr. Watson.
I'm not sure. That was
Um,
a 2-2 vote, and you can't vote, he can't vote.
I can vote if there's a tie.
You cannot vote concerning those items.
You were in one of those items
You're
also.
no.
You were one of the items also.
I did not vote on the item concerning me.
Well, you cannot vote.
I voted on the item concerning Mr. Watson. And I'm entitled to vote to break a tie. And I did it.
Well, I think we better have our lawyer here.
Well, your lawyer is not here, and we're gonna go forward with the first thing on the agenda, which is Mr. Watson's residency.
Public comments, Mr. Mayor?
I doubt it.
Okay? All right, the first thing on the agenda is the residency of Mr. Watson. If you want to sign up for public comments, go ahead. All right, it has been brought to our attention that Mr. Watson resides on property that cannot be substantiated or verified as being inside of the municipality of Scotland Neck. We've been searching for quite some time, and I have searched diligently, and I, or Mr. Toddy is back there, or Ms. Jackson cannot prove by any ordinance that the jurisdiction of Scotland Neck was ever extended to where Mr. Watson lives.
Well, I'm still working on
Well, you're still working on it, but as of right now, you cannot prove that, right?
that.
yes or no?
I haven't got my information back yet,
The answer is you cannot prove it, yes or no?
but I cannot disprove it either.
Well, can you prove it, yes or no?
But I can't disprove it. You don't even, you don't even see them as them.
Well, we're not talking about me at this moment. We're talking about Mr. Watson. Okay? The town board of Scotland Neck has never passed an ordinance that we know of. Now, it may be that somewhere in the archive, somewhere deep back, somewhere, there is such a thing. But typically, a town is able to authenticate where its boundaries are. And we've gone through the ordinances and the records of Scotland Neck, and so far, we have been unable to prove that Mr. Watson lives in the town of Scotland Neck. Now, what I would like to see done is that we vote tonight to give Mr. Watson a chance to authenticate that he actually lives in the municipality. Now, Mr. Watson has himself stated that he possibly does not live in the municipality. He said that to the local board of elections at their meetings, that he did not live in the town of Scotland. That it's possible that he didn't live in the town of Scotland. So, we have all kind of ordinances. We've, like I said, we've researched and researched and researched. And let me show you what an ordinance looks like and how it's established. You see this ordinance, this right here? This is the ordinance right here, passed by the town of Scotland Neck. That right there? That's an ordinance. And it says, well, I'll turn it over to the press and you can read what it says later. But the area that you see there on that map, that's where I live.
Please.
That's where I live.
You're kidding me, right? We know better than that. We pass you every morning coming in from Rocky Mountain.
All right. So, and somebody could try to disprove that. Furthermore, let me show you something else. Oh, yeah. That's my driver's license. Saying that I live here.
Is that one actually current?
When they come of age.
I had, when I lived in Rocky Mount, I had a Rocky Mount.
The date is 7/22, which was well after the election.
Yep.
722.
2010.
I lived at 408 East 18th Street. I'm not arguing my residence, so that's even beyond question.
Beyond
What he's talking
that,
about is ridiculous.
beyond that is it in the
That's
charter
beyond
that you
ridiculous.
have to live here any more than any other board member? Is that a part of the charter of this town?
Or I'm not,
Maybe nobody has to live here.
ma'am, anybody that sits in front of us here tonight and tells a lie that they see me every morning coming in from Rocky Mountain, I don't want to hear it. Okay?
We'll start
You got this
getting you,
straight?
we'll get you on camera now.
Oh, okay, well then, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. All right, so now, the point is, and Ms. Jackson, since you have a question about my residence, and you can't prove it, that's what it looks like.
I didn't say I couldn't prove it, I said I couldn't disprove that you didn't live there. is what
Well,
I said.
disproving, I mean, that's, who can disprove what? But I can prove that I do. And if he will produce that, then,
This proves that that address is in town, right?
right, and that's where I live. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Watson, are you paying town taxes?
For the last 45 years.
And and so you're now saying that y'all are gonna pay him back taxes for all the,
When he was confronted with this, that's exactly what he said. I want my back tax money back.
I do if I'm not in town.
Okay, well, you're not in town.
If I'm not in town, I definitely won't.
Okay, pass that back to me. But I want you to see, I wanted you to see.
but you're saying that the town is charging him town taxes, but you're saying he doesn't live in town, so,
He does not live in town, and paying the tax does not mean that, it means that.
that means the town
that
is
you're being
considering
taxed.
that.
It means that you're being taxed, but the people have been taxed before that live are beyond the
But that means
boundaries
that,
of the town.
that this town is saying that he lives here and they're taxing him for it.
The town the board has to pass an ordinance extending the jurisdiction to that area,
Why did the Board of Elections certify me then?
because they did not know it at this time.
Well, they should
Well,
have
they
checked
have,
on it.
well,
But they get their information,
They should have checked.
they get their information from the town of Scotland Neck, and apparently the town of Scotland Neck has it wrong. All right, all right, you have a motion, Mr. Bradley?
Not so much.
I have a comment I'd like to add, if you
All right.
allow me, please. I don't hear about a lot of things because I'm out of town a lot during the day, but I heard something about this last week. And I've not researched it and don't have much solid information on the topic, but I have heard that the piece of property itself has had town tax paid on it since the 60s, and that's documented. So since the 1960s, the prior owner, well before Mr. Watson, was paying town taxes on this property. Town taxes were paid all throughout the 70s. Town taxes were paid all throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. All this was done prior to Mr. Watson owning the piece. Mr. Watson bought the piece. If it's not in town, he certainly assumed it was, and has been paying town taxes on it since he bought it. So regardless of what we find, he certainly has been under the impression he lives in town, and I think he still believes he does. When you've been paying on taxes on a piece of property since the 1960s, folks, there's no case of fraud or anything where anybody's trying to do anything outside of boundaries here. So, you know, I don't know what the laws will be in terms of something that you can't document when or where it was brought into a municipality, but there may be something there having to do with the taxes being paid on it since the 60s. And I just wanted to throw that out there so that everybody understands